Hi, and welcome to Hermit Crabs' Queer Forms. In this video, I'm going to briefly introduce the workshop and what you can expect. So my name's Jess, and I use she or they pronouns. I'm based in Leeds in West Yorkshire. I'm a writer, teacher, occasional historian of medicine. In this workshop, which will be across 4 Wednesdays in May, we're going to go deep into the hermit crab essay, which is usually a short personal essay in a borrowed form, typically a borrowed non-literary form. So it's like a recipe, a how-to guide, a movie review, a bureaucratic form. And I'm particularly interested in the ways that the hermit crab essay can help us think and write about queerness. So I've curated readings and developed writing prompts with this in mind. And we'll be thinking first about vulnerability, then about performance and cultural critique, and then third about home and how we make home, how we find home. And then finally, in the fourth session, we'll be thinking about how we revise and polish our work, specifically Hermit Crab essays, but in a way that considers going inward, finding out more about ourselves and our impulses as writers through the revision process, and then looking outward, thinking about audience, thinking about what we're wanting to communicate to others in our writing. So each week I'll send you two documents. One is a kind of preparation handout. So it basically has links to a couple of things to read, some questions to think about as you do the reading, and then some other activities, some other optional activities. It's obviously all optional. I do recommend doing the reading in advance if you can. So that's one handout. The other handout is the in-session handout for the Zoom session. So if we were all in person, this is usually what I would bring on the day. I'm sending it all to you in advance so that if you want to read it in advance, you can. You can also follow along in the session, or you can ignore it and just listen to what I kind of guide us through on Zoom, whatever works best for you. But that second handout, the in-session handout, contains the writing prompts for the session and also usually some kind of quotations from other possible readings that I haven't set that have interesting points that I want us to think about together that you can of course always go out and find, and most of the material on the in-session handout all comes from stuff that I would recommend reading if you can find it and if you're interested. Then third, I'll also send out a short recording each week, and this will sum up what we talked about in the session, and it will also introduce the next session's theme and texts. If you're not able to attend a session live, the handouts and the recording should enable you to get a general sense of what we did and to follow along with the reading and the writing exercises. So during the first session, we'll be thinking about hermit crab essays as protective containers for vulnerable writing. And this vulnerability as part of the original conceptualization of hermit crab essays. There's other types of writing that involves borrowed forms. Think about, for example, novels in letters. But hermit crab essays are defined as being soft, vulnerable writing in a borrowed form that protects the content. So part of what I want us to think about this first week is vulnerability and queerness, softness and queerness, and perhaps in particular, how and when we create protective spaces and containers and forms in which to express ourselves. As you'll see in the preparatory handout, I've asked you to read one essay, Chelsea Biondolilo's On Shells, which is about hermit crab essays and also shell collecting. And if you have time to look at some other short examples of hermit crab essays, the Biondolillo references in that essay, and I've created a list of links because the links in the original essay on shells, a lot of them don't work anymore. So I kind of tracked down the sources and put them in the handout. And maybe if you have time, attempt a hermit crab essay yourself. Though I know that for this first week, the materials are going out pretty last minute. After this, they should go out at the latest the Thursday before the next Wednesday session. it's not in person, during the Zoom session, we'll spend some time writing about what we write about, what we find easy to write about, what's more difficult to write about, and we'll also attempt a few different hermit crab essays, all kind of touching on this theme of vulnerability. The goal of the first week will be to kind of get comfortable with the hermit crab essay form and to get us writing, to get us into the habit of trying some different forms. The in-person session generally will be focused on writing. I'll do a bit of talking and I'll invite you to contribute and to share, whether out loud or in the chat, but there is absolutely no pressure to do so. You'll get the most out of the workshop sessions if you are in a place where you can settle into some writing experiments. So do please bring whatever kind of writing materials help you get settled, whether that's a notebook and a pen or writing on your computer, writing on your phone, whatever works best for you. This, I think, hopefully goes without saying, but please help to maintain a workshop space that resists the violence and the hatred of the world at large. No racism, no transphobia, no homophobia, no ableism, no misogyny, etc. And if something happens, or if you're uncomfortable with how I respond to a situation or how I'm talking about something, please let me know, either by letting me know in the session, by contacting me afterward, or by emailing Sam and Ruth at Beyond Form. I welcome feedback of all kinds around how I take care of the spaces that I'm responsible for. So I think that's all from me for now. If you have any questions or concerns, or if there's anything I can do to make the workshop more accessible or more comfortable for you, please let me know. And I look forward to seeing you on Wednesday.